50 Cent just saw the footage, and what he did next has the entire internet losing its mind right now. Because this isn't just another celebrity getting arrested. This is something way more embarrassing, way more personal, and way more dangerous than anyone expected. King Harris didn't just get pulled over, he got exposed in a way that handed 50 Cent the perfect moment to strike. We're talking about a late-night police stop, flashing lights, a weapon sitting in plain sight, and somehow, in the middle of all that chaos, King Harris is dressed in a full Pikachu onesie, posting on Instagram like it's just another normal night. But here's where things take a serious turn. Sources are now claiming that 50 Cent didn't react immediately, he waited. He watched the video carefully, over and over again, like he was studying something deeper than just a viral moment. And if you know 50 Cent, you already know that silence means one thing. He's planning something. Now the real question is, what did he see in that footage that made him hold back instead of instantly clowning it? And why are people saying this reaction could destroy King Harris's image for good? Because trust me, this is only the beginning. To really understand why 50 Cent reacting to King Harris's arrest is hitting this hard, you have to go back before the arrest, before the memes, before the Pikachu onesie became a viral joke. Because this didn't start that night. This was building for a long time. At the center of all of this is 50 Cent, a man who has turned trolling into a weapon. Not just any weapon, but one that has ended careers, embarrassed rivals, and completely flipped narratives in his favor, without him ever having to raise his voice. He doesn't react emotionally. He doesn't lose control. He waits. And that's what makes him dangerous. Then you have T.I., a respected figure, a veteran in the industry, someone who has built his reputation over decades. But with that reputation comes pressure. And over the years, that pressure hasn't just stayed on him, it's extended to his family. And that's where King Harris enters the picture. Young, outspoken, and unfiltered. King wasn't just watching the tension between his father and 50 Cent, he stepped directly into it. And once he did, everything changed. What started as small jabs between two industry figures quickly escalated into something more personal. Social media turned into a battlefield. Every post, every caption, every comment felt like it was part of something bigger. But King didn't treat it like a game. He took it seriously. He called 50 Cent out directly, brought up his past, questioned his image, even went as far as posting alleged documents that many people believed crossed a line you don't come back from. And for a moment, it looked like King Harris was ready for war. He was loud, he was confident, and he wasn't backing down. But what he didn't seem to understand was the type of opponent he was dealing with. Because while King was reacting with emotion, 50 Cent was doing the exact opposite. He stayed calm, posted memes, dropped subtle jokes, never fully engaging but never fully stepping away either. It was like he was letting King talk himself into a corner. And slowly, that's exactly what started happening. Because in situations like this, perception matters more than anything else. And while King was trying to prove a point, 50 Cent was letting the internet decide who was winning. But then came the moment that changed everything. The arrest. Because now, this wasn't about words anymore. This wasn't about who said what on Instagram. This became about real-life consequences. King Harris, the same person who had been presenting himself as fearless, untouchable, and ready for anything, was now trending for something completely different. Something people didn't expect. Something people couldn't ignore. And most importantly, something that completely shifted the narrative. Because now, instead of being the one applying pressure, he became the one under it. And the timing could not have been worse. Because the moment this went viral, everyone knew one thing. 50 Cent was watching. And when 50 Cent watches something like this unfold, he doesn't just react. He calculates. He studies. And when he finally decides to move, it's never random. It's always strategic. So now the question isn't just about the arrest. It's about what happens next. Because if there's one thing history has shown us, it's that when 50 Cent gets a moment like this, he never wastes it.
And right now,
he has the perfect one. The night everything went wrong didn't start like something that would go viral, but within minutes, it turned into a situation that nobody could ignore. It was late, around 1 a.m., The streets were quiet, the kind of quiet that makes any sudden movement stand out. And that's exactly what happened. A vehicle moving too fast, too aggressive, too noticeable. King Harris was behind the wheel, pushing speeds that immediately caught law enforcement's attention. What should have been a simple traffic stop quickly turned into something much bigger the moment officers decided to pull him over. Flashing lights filled the road. The signal was clear. Pull over. But instead of a smooth stop, the situation dragged on longer than expected. The vehicle kept moving before finally slowing down. And by the time it came to a stop, tension was already building. Officers approached carefully, alert, focused, because something didn't feel right. And the moment they reached the vehicle, everything escalated. There it was, a firearm, sitting right on the dashboard, visible, within reach. That one detail changed everything. What could have been a routine stop instantly turned into a high-risk situation. Officers began issuing commands immediately, their tone shifting from casual to serious in seconds. Step out of the vehicle. Simple instruction. But King didn't move. Instead, he questioned it, pushed back, asked why. And in that moment, everything became unpredictable. Because hesitation like that in a situation like this only makes things worse. Officers repeated the command, again and again. But King continued resisting, refusing to step out right away. The tension kept rising, every second stretching longer than it should. And then something happened that nobody expected. Instead of focusing on the situation, King reached for his phone. Yes, his phone. And within seconds, he was uploading a photo of himself sitting there in a full Pikachu onesie. Bright yellow, cartoon face, completely out of place in a moment that was anything but funny. The caption? Something playful, something careless. Like he didn't fully understand how serious the situation had already become. And that single post? It changed everything. Because within minutes, it hit social media. And once it did, there was no going back. The internet exploded. People couldn't believe what they were seeing. A potentially dangerous police stop, mixed with something that looked like a joke. It didn't make sense. And that's exactly why it spread so fast. But while the internet was laughing, zooming in on the outfit, turning it into memes, behind the scenes, things were getting worse. Because after repeated warnings, King was finally told he was under arrest for obstruction. At that point, the situation was already out of control. He eventually stepped out, but the damage had been done. Handcuffs, transport, booking. And that's when things took an even darker turn. Because during processing, officers allegedly found something else. A controlled substance. Now the situation wasn't just about speeding or obstruction. It became something more serious. Something that could follow him for a long time. And just like that, the story shifted again. From viral moment to real consequences. But here's where the twist comes in. Because while all of this was unfolding publicly, something else was happening privately. According to insiders, the moment the story started gaining traction, one person immediately became the center of attention. 50 Cent. Not because he was involved in the incident, but because of what this moment meant. For weeks, King Harris had been going at him publicly, calling him out, challenging him, trying to pull him into a direct confrontation. And now, without 50 Cent saying a single word, the narrative had flipped. Completely. But what makes this even more interesting is what happened next. Because instead of reacting instantly, 50 Cent stayed silent. No posts. No comments. Nothing. And that silence? It didn't feel normal. It felt intentional. Because when someone like 50 Cent doesn't react right away, it usually means one thing. He's waiting, watching, planning something bigger. And according to one leaked message that started circulating online, that might be exactly what he was doing. The message allegedly read, "Let him go viral, it only gets worse from here." If that message is real, then this wasn't just a moment 50 Cent reacted to. This was a moment he was about to turn into something much bigger. And the scariest part? He hadn't even made his move yet. The moment that leaked message started circulating, everything changed. Because now, people weren't just watching King Harris's arrest. They were waiting on 50 Cent. And that kind of anticipation? That's dangerous. Because when the internet starts expecting a reaction from someone like 50 Cent, it turns into a countdown. Every minute he stayed silent made people more anxious, more curious, more locked in. And then it happened. Out of nowhere, 50 Cent finally posted. No warning, no build-up, just one post. But it was enough to shake everything. It wasn't a direct diss. No names mentioned. No clear explanation. Just a meme. A simple, calculated image that looked harmless at first glance. But if you understood the situation, it hit like a direct shot. The caption? Short, cold, and filled with hidden meaning. Something along the lines of, "Some people don't need enemies, they do it to themselves." That was it. But that one line? It exploded. Within minutes, fans connected the dots. The comments flooded in. Screenshots started spreading across every platform. Twitter threads, Instagram pages, TikTok edits. Everyone was talking about it. Because 50 Cent didn't need to say King Harris's name. He didn't need to. The internet said it for him. And just like that, the narrative flipped again. Now, the focus wasn't even on the arrest anymore. It was on humiliation. Because in the middle of a serious situation involving law enforcement, charges, and potential consequences, King Harris had unknowingly turned himself into a viral joke. And 50 Cent? He amplified it without even trying. But here's where things take an even darker turn. Because as the post kept gaining traction, more details about that night started surfacing. People began digging deeper. Clips from the arrest, screenshots of King's posts, old interviews, past incidents. Everything started resurfacing at once. And suddenly a pattern started forming. Fans began pointing out that this wasn't the first time King Harris had been in trouble. This wasn't the first questionable decision. This wasn't even the first time people had warned about his behavior. And that realization? It shifted the conversation completely. Now, it wasn't just about one night. It was about a bigger issue, a bigger story, one that made everything feel more serious, more concerning. And right in the middle of that shift, another shocking claim dropped. A source close to the situation alleged that 50 Cent wasn't just posting for entertainment. He was watching how people reacted, measuring it, studying it. Because according to that source, this wasn't just about clout. It was about control. Control of the narrative. Control of the image. Control of how the public sees both sides. And if that's true, then every post 50 Cent made wasn't random. It was strategic. Every meme, every caption, every moment of silence. All calculated. But the biggest reveal came from a supposed insider who claimed that 50 Cent had been expecting something like this. Not this exact situation, but a moment where King Harris would slip, where emotion would turn into a mistake. And when that moment came, he would be ready. If that's true, then this wasn't just a reaction. This was a trap. And King Harris walked right into it. Now think about that for a second. For weeks, King was trying to pull 50 Cent into a reaction, trying to get his attention, trying to provoke him. But instead of reacting back then, 50 Cent waited. And when the moment finally came, he didn't just respond. He took control of the entire situation. And now, the internet isn't asking what happened during the arrest. They're asking something else. Did 50 Cent just win this without even trying? Or is there still something bigger coming? Because if there's one thing we know for sure, when 50 Cent starts playing like this, it's never over after the first move. It's only getting started. At this point, the situation wasn't just viral. It was everywhere. Every platform, every timeline, every comment section. King Harris's arrest had officially turned into one of the most talked about moments online, and the reactions? Completely split. On one side, you had people treating it like pure entertainment. Memes flooded the internet. Clips of the Pikachu onesie got edited, remixed, turned into jokes that spread faster than the actual news itself. People were laughing, reposting, adding captions, turning a serious situation into something that looked almost unreal. "You can't make this up," one viral tweet read. Another said, 50 Cent didn't even have to try, this road itself. And that right there, that's what made it worse. Because every laugh, every meme, every repost, was slowly damaging King Harris's image. But on the other side, people weren't laughing at all. They were concerned, because behind the jokes, there were real details that couldn't be ignored. A weapon in reach, a refusal to cooperate, a controlled substance charge. And suddenly, the tone shifted for a different group of people watching this unfold. "This isn't funny anymore," one user posted. "This is someone heading down a bad path." And just like that, the internet split into two worlds. One side laughing, one side worried, but both sides talking about the same thing. And in the middle of all that noise, industry voices started creeping in. Not directly, not loudly, but in ways that added even more tension. Some celebrities posted cryptic messages about accountability. Others hinted at young artists losing control. A few even referenced how quickly fame can turn into pressure. No names mentioned, but everyone knew who they were talking about. And then came the reactions that made things even more uncomfortable. Because some insiders began suggesting that this moment wasn't just embarrassing, it could have long-term consequences. Brand image, public perception, future opportunities, all things that could be affected by one viral moment. And once that conversation started, it didn't stop. Because now, it wasn't just about what happened. It was about what this could lead to. And guess who is still right in the center of it all? 50 Cent. Because while everyone else was debating, reacting, arguing, he stayed in control. Every post he made continued to dominate attention. Every subtle jab continued to trend. And the most important part? He never looked emotional, never looked angry, never looked like he was trying too hard. And that made his impact even stronger. Because in situations like this, the person who looks calm usually looks like the winner. Meanwhile, King Harris tried to respond, posting, reacting, trying to flip the narrative back in his favor. But every move he made got dissected instantly, criticized, turned into another talking point. And instead of regaining control, it felt like things were slipping further away. Because once the internet decides on a narrative, it's almost impossible to change it. And right now, the narrative wasn't in his favor. But just when it seemed like things couldn't get more intense, another layer of the story started to surface. One that nobody saw coming. Because while the public was focused on the memes and the reactions and the ongoing tension with 50 Cent, there were still unanswered questions about that night. Details that hadn't fully come out yet. Moments that hadn't been explained. And if those details were to surface, they could change everything. Because what if the story we've been watching is only part of what actually happened? And if that's true, then the situation isn't slowing down anytime soon. It's about to get even bigger. Just when it looked like the story had already reached its peak, everything flipped again. Because a new detail started circulating, and this one didn't come from memes, fans, or random media pages. This came from what people are calling an unreleased angle of that night. According to multiple online sources, there is additional footage from the arrest footage that hasn't been made public yet. And if what insiders are saying is true, then what we've seen so far is only part of the story. The claim is that this unseen footage shows moments before the police lights ever came on. Moments that could completely change how people view what really happened. Now think about that. Because up until now, the entire internet has been reacting to a version of events that starts after things already escalated. But what if the real story begins earlier? What if there were actions, decisions, movements that led to this moment in a way we haven't fully understood yet? And here's where it gets even more intense. One anonymous source claimed that if this footage drops, it could shift the conversation away from jokes and memes and into something much more serious. Something that raises real questions about behavior, about judgment, and about what really happened in those moments before everything went viral. But that's not even the biggest twist. Because while this information was starting to spread, people noticed something strange. 50 Cent went quiet again. No new posts. No new reactions. Nothing. And that silence? It didn't feel random. It felt familiar. Because we've seen this before. Right before he makes another move. Right before he drops something that shifts everything again. Some fans are now convinced that he's waiting. Waiting for the right moment. waiting for more information, or maybe waiting for that footage. Because if it comes out and it confirms anything serious, then this situation could go from embarrassing to damaging very fast. And here's the part nobody is talking about enough. If this turns into something bigger than just a viral moment, then the consequences won't just stay online. They could follow King Harris into real life, into his career, into his future. And at that point, 50 Cent won't even need to say anything else. The situation will speak for itself. But until that footage drops, everything is still hanging in the air. Questions unanswered, details unclear, tension building. And the biggest question of all still remains. Is this the end of the story? Or just the beginning of something much bigger? Because if there's one thing we've learned from situations like this, it's that the moment you think it's over, that's when the real twist hits. And right now, it feels like something big is coming. Now I need you to be real with me. What do you actually think about all of this? Did 50 Cent play this perfectly? Or did King Harris hand him the easiest win of his career? And be honest, was this just a bad decision that got out of control? Or is this part of a bigger pattern that people are only now starting to notice? Because the internet is divided right now. Some people are laughing, some people are worried, and others are saying this situation might not be as simple as it looks. So, I want to hear your side. Drop your opinion in the comments right now. Don't hold back. Also, if you've been keeping up with this entire situation, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Because trust me, this story is not over. If that unreleased footage drops, or if 50 Cent makes another move, everything could change again overnight. And when it does, you already know we're going to break it down first. So stay locked in, because the next update might be even crazier than this one.